As you'd expect, today's papers are marking 1 year since the war in Ukraine began following Russia's invasion. And in 2 hours' time, there'll be a national minute's silence here to recognise Ukrainian forces and the citizens, of course, and remember all of those who have lost their lives. Well, let's go live to Kyiv. GMB's chief correspondent, Richard Gaisford, in Ukraine this morning. You were there at the very beginning, Richard, and so much, I think, that many of us have come away with in the year is the resilience and the resistance of the Ukrainian people. I think it's astonished the world. What are your reflections this morning, a year on?
Well, firstly, Rafa, it's amazing that we are able to stand here right in the heart of Kyiv, outside of St. Sophia Cathedral, and broadcast, because a year ago, as the bombs started to fall around the capital, around the country, the air raid sirens wailed for the first time and those Russian convoys came through. Well, no one really knew what was going to happen. The fierce fighting started. Of course, people started to flee, heading to the west. And then that resilience built that you mentioned. And that was the most amazing thing I think I'll take from this, is the war effort and spirit that sprung from absolutely nothing. Watching people sew camouflage nets, pour petrol bombs, women down in Odessa learning how to use assault rifles to defend the city. All of the volunteers, all of the people who have stood up have made this the most incredible story to report on over the last year.
And how is the day being marked in Kyiv?
Well, it was tense because they thought there was going to be missile attacks at about 4 a.m. this morning. Thankfully, that didn't happen. And so Volodymyr Zelensky came out into the square right behind where we're standing now and gave an address. He had hundreds of troops around him. Some of them had come from the front lines in Bakhmut and other areas of Ukraine. He handed out heroes' medals. And it was emotional, too, because he was thanking those who've made sacrifices. And he was also handing out medals to the families, the mothers, the wives of those that have died. There have been lots of them. Ukraine never publishes the death toll for its own soldiers, but we know this is a bloody war. Russia has lost perhaps more than 145,000 men, billions of dollars worth of machinery. It is a really grueling and bloody conflict, this. And at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon.
Richard Gaisford, thank you. Well, from the moment the war broke out, thousands of people in the UK opened their homes to those who were fleeing the war. Amongst them was Natalie Dyson, a mum of 3 who I first spoke to last year after she'd welcomed Christina and her 10-year-old son, Sasha. Well, since then, she's gone on to help hundreds of other Ukrainians finding sponsor families here in the UK, like her good friend now, Natalia, who found a home here with her children Max and Kate, and we're going to be meeting the children in a moment or two. But Natalia, I know as soon as Richard started speaking, I felt your energy change. It made tears prick up in the back of my eyes because we both looked at Natalia and said, "Are you okay?" How are you feeling today, a year on?
I feel a little worried, because the war is still continuing, and we can't stop it with our own forces, unfortunately. And we're so grateful for the help that is provided from all over the world to Ukraine to support and stand with Ukraine right now, really. And it's so important for Ukrainian people, believe me.
Yeah, and Natalia, you've been an English teacher in Ukraine. That's what you trained as. And you left in May, I think, did you, last year, which was a few months after the war broke out. And so can you just tell us a little bit about that journey to the UK, how terrifying that must have been for you and your children to leave their dad behind, to leave your parents behind and leave?
I think everyone who escaped, who fled the war, it was like a nightmare. We were escaping from the hell. Because in May, when the alerts started to increase day by day, hour by hour, so we understood that we have to leave very fast to save our kids, because we saw their depression, they couldn't sleep, they couldn't eat well. So we have to leave, and we're supposed to go to the UK, to the island which gave us shelter. And it was on ferry, then it was by evacuation bus, then we crossed the border with Romania and got one night at our friend's house in Bucharest. And flew to the UK, where we met our sponsors.
Yeah. Well, and Natalie, that is where you come in, isn't it? It is stories like these that I think just made you feel so... You're a lawyer, aren't you, by trade?
Yeah, by trade.
I think we spoke about this last time. It helps, doesn't it, that you have this sort of eye for detail and you can read reams and reams of documents because that has allowed you, that ability that you already have, those skills has allowed you to help hundreds of families now to find people in your area where you live.
Yeah, that's right. We came together as a group of volunteers. People like myself that wanted to step up. We had a spare room. We felt it was the right thing to do, you know, very compelled by the images, the really distressing images that we were seeing, to step forward when the government announced their Homes for Ukraine scheme. We felt that this was one way that we could help. And we came together as a group of volunteers and started trying to match people in Ukraine that were trying to find host families over here. And there were literally hundreds. I'd open kind of my spam inbox on Facebook and some days there were 30, 40, 50 messages from people saying, please, can you help me get out?
And is that what you did, Natalia? Did you have to go onto Facebook to try and find a sponsor?
Yes, directly, and she helped me to find my...
And again, you know, it's in English, and it's lucky for you that you know English, because it must have been very difficult for other Ukrainian mums, because, of course, the fathers, everybody between 18 and 59 had to stay behind. It's the mums who are doing all of this, isn't it? And if you don't know English very well, again, that must be incredibly difficult, Natalie, for others other than Natalia. It
was really tricky. We quite quickly became very adept at using Google Translate and things like that. Yeah. But also, we were very fortunate in our area. We identified some lovely volunteers who, had lived in the UK for some time that could speak Ukrainian and Russian, and we used them to help us. And
how long... I suppose your view is you want to just go back home. But on a year's anniversary, does that feel any closer?
Yeah, we pray and we hope and we believe in bright future for Ukraine. It will flourish soon and the war will end, I believe.
That's what you believe, yeah. There's still so much need still out there, isn't there, Natalie?
Yeah.
Are there still families that are still getting in touch with you all the time?
All the time, because what's happening is actually of the hundreds of people that our group's kind of brought over, then they've got, extended family members who are wanting to come as well. So that's tricky. Well, we've got Max and Kate who are just waiting in the wings. Do you want to come in, both of you? Very good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Well, you've had a day off school to come in here today. Max, how are you, 15?
Yeah, 15 years old.
Yeah. How, when you think about it, it's been a year, you've grown up here in the last year, in your teenage years. What do you think about your previous life? What do you miss of Ukraine?
Oh, I really miss my friends, my grandparents, and obviously my dad, who is in Kyiv now. And that's really, really tragic. Yeah, but you're staying strong and you're willing those people who've remained behind to win this war, and so that you can all go back home and be together. And Kate, can I ask you, I know are you 8? Yeah. 8 years old. How are you finding school here in
Fine, nice. I have got my lovely teachers, Mrs. Nutt and Mrs. Jones.
Oh, they'll be so thrilled you named them on the TV. And have you made some friends here? Have you managed to make some friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, I was told that you are very good at making bracelets. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Do you? Are you wearing the bracelets that you've been? Have you got a bracelet there?
Yeah.
Ah, let me see it. You're very creative. It's hidden deep within the pockets there.
I made this on the train on the way up.
Whilst you're searching, you can't find it. Have you lost it? Oh, don't worry.
OK.
No. Oh, you've got one there. You've got one there. Your mum told me that you're very creative. No, we've lost it. Never mind. We'll find it. We'll find it. But I'm going to give you something, actually. So we've got you tickets today on your day off from school to go on the London Eye and go to the London Sea Life Centre today, and we're going to give you some lunch in London and have a nice day out today.
Thank you so much.
So I hope that gives you a lovely memory on what is a really difficult day, I'm pretty sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to 3 of you, but also, Natalie, thank you for making that plea that you still want more volunteers and sponsors to come forward and keep offering
their homes and spaces to families that need it today.
Absolutely, yeah. We're always in need of more sponsors, and it's a fantastically positive experience. I'd encourage anyone to do it.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you. And glory to British people for your help, really. We so appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, it's wonderful to have you in. Thank you so much. Thank you.